カタストロフェ、カタストロフェ。これ間違ってるってことだよ。おお、カメラに見せて。もっと下、もうちょっと下げて。うん。まあいいや。In case you're here for the first time, my name is Matsunaga and I'm a fully trained and certified kimono teacher and stylist. This is a buffer video for next week's video to actually tell you that it's gonna be a Q&A next week, not about my private life. No, it's just gonna be about kimono storage, and I'm probably also gonna do ask a question thing on Instagram, so you can comment under this video or on Instagram later this week, probably, to ask me about kimono storage and how to store kimono right. You can already tell there is no one answer. There's just a lot of different answers, but we're going into detail next week. Anyway, I was thinking about 2 DIYs I wanted to do for my kimono storage for ages. Honestly, I was thinking about those 2 DIYs for a very long time, and you know how that is. You never really come around doing it until you actually force yourself. The first thing we're going to make in this video is a kimono hanger. And you might think, hey, you're a kimono teacher, you're wearing kimonos daily and you don't have a kimono hanger. I have it here, this plastic thingy here. And they're not even that expensive, but when you are on my channel for a while now, you know that I'm not a big plastic fan, and you will see my kimono storage. It's very wooden and a really nice room, so this plastic looks just awful in it. And I was actually thinking about buying a wooden one, and there are wooden ones, but the really nice ones that don't use a single piece of plastic, that is what I'm aiming for, cost about $300, and that would already be a new and really nice kimono from my favorite kimono maker. So I was kind of like, I don't really want to put that much money into a kimono hanger, so I'm gonna make one myself. And we did it last weekend, and I filmed the whole process. And I also asked my husband for help because I'm not good when it comes to work with machines and wooden things, and you can tell that my husband doesn't have a lot of practice either, but I think we had fun that day. It was the last sunny weekend before rainy season. By the way, welcome to our garden. For this project I purchased 3 91 centimeter long with an 2.5 centimeter diameter Polonia rods and an additional one with only 1.8 centimeter diameter. I also purchased 4 hanger bolts with 6 millimeter diameter, 5 centimeter length, and 4 matching insert nuts with a hexagon socket. Lastly, a 4 millimeter diameter cotton rope. We start with marking out the center of the thinner rod. And then we marked 30 centimeter from the thicker rod. We cut out the wood at those markings. Yay! Then I marked the center of the thicker rod. For one hanger, you need a centerpiece with 61 centimeter length and 2 ends with 30 centimeter length. 真ん中じゃないな。こっち向きだなってるもん、けんちゃん。もうちょっとこっち行かないか。いや、違う。なんかこいつね、こうしなきゃいけないよ。 Drill holes in both sides of the centerpiece. This is where I install the insert nuts.
Oh! カメラに見せて。もっと下、もうちょっと下げて。まあいいや。
And we only drilled one hole in the 30cm side pieces and installed the hanger bolts. There are many tutorials on the internet to insert hanger bolts and the insert nuts, and make sure to check some of them out before doing this. That's also what we did. On the thinner rod we marked out 3 cm from both ends. And on the centerpiece we marked out 4 points, 2 placed 5 cm from the center, and 2 that will match up with the markings on the thinner rod. Drill holes with 5 mm diameter of those markings. Sandpaper all rods and smoothen out the edges. Pull a 30 cm long rope through the holes on the middle of the centerpiece and tie it up. Pull then a piece of rope to connect the centerpiece with the thinner rod. I measured 10 cm distance and clipped it in place so the rods won't move when I tie them together. And here is the end result. Paulownia is a very light and durable wood. It also absorbs humidity from the air around it. And its smell is one of those moths can't stand. So it was often used for kimono closets in the past. One hanger in total cost me less than $10. And don't forget, when you have any questions about how to store kimono or zori, ask down below in the comments and I will answer your questions next week. And yes, I am super satisfied with the outcome. I knew it's not going to be perfect and super straight. Anyway, I am 100% sure that all of you can do a better job than we did. But I think it's the idea that counts. My second DIY is what we're going to make today. It's a so-called Zori Makura. And those are used to hold up the hanao of your zori in a nice shape. I usually use a piece of tissue paper I have rolled up and put into the hanao to keep it in a nice shape. But I think it doesn't look that nice, and we always have a lot of scraps of fabric lying around that can be used perfectly for this. There are a lot of different shapes for those Zori Makura. And I found a Japanese blog with a pattern that actually looks like tabi socks. And that's quite cute, so I'm gonna put that link down below. But I have about 20 pair of zori, which means I will have to make 40 of them. I'm not gonna make all of them today, but I will have to make eventually 40 of them. So I just don't want to spend that much time into kind of complicated Zori Makura that actually just can be a rectangle and it will be enough. So I'm gonna show you how I made mine. That should be perfectly fine for you as well, especially when you don't want to spend a lot of time with actually making those. So I'm probably gonna set up my sewing machine outside and then let's get started. I cut out 4 13 cm wide and 18 cm long rectangles from the same fabric and pinned 3 edges together. I sewed those 3 sides together with a 1.5 centimeter sewing allowance. And I did every side separately to half open the top corners. You'll see in a few moments why. So while my iron is warming up, you can see that I have left open the top corners because that makes it easier to then turn it and have a crisp corner. Maximum a centimeter should be okay. I ironed the edges inside. When I turn things inside out, I usually start with the corners. I flip the corners inside and peek it with a sharp something to shape the corner. After I did the second corner as well, I turn everything inside out and peek the corners from the inside again. It so looks like rain. I'm so happy I moved inside with all my stuff. Okay, with sewing it, ironing it, and turning it inside out, we now have to stuff it. And for stuffing, what I usually use for any stuffing are scraps of fabric, because you know that I'm for natural fibers, so when I have leftovers like this is just really leftover, I wouldn't use anymore, or what I have cut out from under the collar of my how to make a kimono video. This is all inside of this. I cut it in really small tiny scraps, and this is what I usually use for any stuffing, and as I only buy natural fibers, this feels very good on skin. Anyway, I'm recently saving this for garden furniture cushions, and this will obviously be not enough. It will probably take me a few years to have those cushions finally finished. I will use some synthetic fiber stuffing I have purchased many years ago. I don't even remember when I have purchased this. So I think this time, because I have to use up the stuff I have at home, this is gonna be okay. And I have actually brought my kitchen scale for you guys. Yesterday I have made my prototype of this, and between 16 and 80 gram stuffing, or the whole cushion was okay, between 16 and 80 gram stuffing. So I'm gonna stuff my new ones and have them between 16 and 80 gram. I stuffed the cushion, which is really not that interesting. Then I folded the open side for about my seam allowance inside and pinned it in place. And I sewed a straight stitch a few millimeters from the edge. And the cushions were ready to be set up. I will still have to make a bunch of them, but I already like how they look in my Zori storage instead of that ugly tissue paper. I hope this video inspired you to make some new things for your own kimono storage, to store your kimono a little better and to maintain them therefore a little better, so you can wear them longer. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you could consider subscribing. I would be very happy to have you here around on my channel for a little longer. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!